I was a wreck, away and afraid, away and alone, away and accomplice to the tearing down of everything that had ever been given to me throughout my life. Mother of 4 girls, Black girls. Black girls who held the innate power to see thoroughly through all I had attempted to mask as I hid in my motherhood, in my wifeydom, in my womanhood. I was a phony. I wore a mask. A mask that was pressed into my skin, molded and perfected, fitted to fill the caves of emptiness trying to push through welled up eyes. Someone would only have to ask me how I was doing, and it would fill me with shame, attack my smile. I was barren, void of life. Then one day it happened. The snap I heard in the back of my head came after I realized my husband had locked me in the room with him, and the rage in his eyes confirmed my dread. Sometimes we can literally learn about the bigness of manifestation by having the harvest of what we've sown pummeled into our skull, our body, our face, our back. I was beaten. I was locked under the legs of a man who I had once locked arms and hands with. I was punched and smacked to the rhythm of consistent words. Where is your God? For years, it was only my love for my children that fueled my steps. I would glide into spaces as quietly as I could, on watch for others who would catch my glare and maybe wink or gesture, letting me know that they understood and we were in the same battle. I don't remember if I wanted to live through it. I can only remember knowing this, that my fear had come to its fruition. This man, this fine man, who I had stayed up late nights with, stood in divine ceremony with, created those gorgeous young Black girls with, put his hands on me, strangled me, almost killed me, and lost all memory of mercy. The thing about being in this space is your woman comrades, your sister cohorts, they may never speak to you. They may just check in on you with a slight glance or a raised eyebrow, then return to their battleground because they can't afford to waste their energy on you. There was a time when I did things that some of us do and surrender to a world that we cannot see a physical way out of. See, I was the woman who picked him up from jail. From the case he caught trying to kill me. And as the next year passed, I went back to our life, and though my life was forever changed, my mask healed up just fine and built another layer. One that was now powered by shame. And shame is not an adversary to be played with. Shame is not an adversary to be played with. Shame kills. I was living every day, chest rising and falling on life support and losing my spiritual breath. All I had was my mind, which was spinning in turmoil with every arrow that landed onto my household. The arrow of unemployment, the arrow of bills that were overwhelming to us at every turn. There were so many conversations that started out innocent and turned into tsunamis of curses and blame. I believe I was cursed. My turn. My turn arrived in giving. Giving that could be defined as everything being taken. But a clutch that's fueled with anguish cannot be loosened. I had to peel my hands back from the things I thought made me, because reality is a wake-up call. I was living in a house that was owned by my father. I made a decision to give back my father's house as an offering to a God that I felt like was requesting my white flag. I made a decision to give my husband his freedom and give all my things away. I made a decision that I surrender all. I moved to Maryland with my daughters, and we lived as squatters in a foreclosed apartment while awaiting my family's rescue in the form of a shared house. And as I packed my things, I prepared for this move. I surrounded my home with scriptures and quotes that became my force field. They protected me at all sides from not only the attack of my background, but these words morphed into sword and fought for me against my own arch nemesis, myself. The me that was desperately clawing and scratching at my mind, attempting to crash my path and make me stop, fall back into the world I had created with my own words and thoughts, words that begged me to come on home. Get back in this cushioned coffin and wait and die. Imagine walking, running away from yourself when your attacker knows exactly where you're going. When there's no alley to hide in, no place to slip into, there was never anywhere but here. That made this battle insurmountable. It made every step like wading through quicksand, exhausted, with no rope to pull me through. Only me. This season of my life was devastating. It was wrought with mirrors that reflected back into my pain. No matter what I believed, the repetitive mental voices that cut through every motivational word I spoke were razor sharp. I had to do the work that would push me out of this window into a house that wasn't mine and didn't welcome change. I had to dig into the crates of things I had read and testimonies I had seen. I had to know that miracles are not for the weak, but for the faithful. And that sometimes a mustard seed is just about the size that we all have left.
Yes.
I created what I call an honest vision board. One that told the truth about who I see myself as being. The one that didn't care who was looking at it. I watched videos, stayed in constant walking meditation, created playlists of songs that reminded me of who and whose I am, and I pressed my feet into the ground with intention. Every step was a victory. I removed judgment from my current and spoke and still speak things as though they are. I spent the next 3 years creating a nonprofit organization for poets of color in the South who needed the same community and training as I did, so we could tell our truths and lift and inspire the world through art. I made a difficult decision to leave Maryland and move back to South Carolina.
You got this.
I left my mom, who was battling cancer and recently just passed away. I was away and alone. I left my sister, who believed if I moved back down south, surely I would die. I was alone and afraid. I left because when you are called, that calling never leaves you, no matter where you go. I believe the legacy you leave will literally be the last thing on your mind as you transition and take your last breath. I returned to the South to finish my life work that I had begun when I became a spoken word artist in the late 90s. The work that is necessary to make sure that Southern voices stay in the forefront of fight for change and transformation in this community and in this country. Myself and my business partner created yearly retreats for our tribe, Poets of Color, where we make it affordable for us to create our best work under the best writers in the world for a price that won't worry us when we get home. I am now a published poet who's been in numerous literary journals and a couple of books. I now travel all over the South speaking truth to power about the plight of the girl, the woman, the mother, and sometimes even the wife. I speak life, I live life, I step every day with intention towards life. The only thing that was going to help me was visioning myself out of this situation and into a better life. I believe in the mantras that I speak. I believe in where I am going, not where I am. I speak life as I see it in the future, not how it is at the time. I don't live in the past, and I stop judging where I am in the present. 3 years I spent in Maryland put me here because I speak things as though they are, and believe it or not, I spoke about really focusing on being ready to launch into public speaking about 1 month before I got this opportunity to speak to you today. So 3 years truly that I spent in Maryland put me here in North Carolina in front of you right now. One of the biggest lessons I learned in the Valley was this: all you can do is create the vision for your life. You are not in charge of how you get there. You are only in charge of expecting it, knowing it, loving it, and being willing to learn on your way to it. As for me and my daughters, to say that times don't get rough is not the truth. There are times I don't know how I'm going to pay my next bill, like right now. No, I mean right now. But I'm in charge of how. I'm not in charge of how. I'm in charge of knowing I'm going to get to do what I set out to do, which is live an abundant life. There's this thing I say about my daughters. Y'all up on Facebook who know me know this. I say I'm raising #mini Amazons. And I don't say that because their father was 6'4". I say it because all their legs as I stand here are growing 2 inches right now. I say it because their mom is a warrior. And she has an arsenal that can match the most devious enemy. This arsenal that I have, my own mind, my mind. I am Monifa Lemons. I'm born and raised in New York City. I'm a self-proclaimed Southern New Yorker who can catch a cab or kill a hog.
All right.
I'm a child that was raised by my parents. They placed me in the world of the arts that sparked a flame that will never suffocate or die. I am Sadie Mae's daughter. Yes. And my story is a wonder.
Yes, great job.